talking about tackling the tough questions of the Christian faith. And I started to get an inkling a few months ago of the desire to do this series, and so I began working on it, and God just kind of started to put some pieces together. So really excited about this. And I want you to understand that many would say, and I've even heard some say this past week, that faith isn't founded on objects or artifacts, but it's faith. It's based in our own decision to turn our hearts and our minds toward God. That it's about a personal relationship with Jesus. That it's based on faith.
I agree with you completely that faith is not just about history and archaeology. On the other hand, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
No. Actually, this is my friend Jeff Gill. Let's give him a round of applause. And he's with us this morning, and so he's going to be helping us with this series along the way. He'll be popping in and out. And he is also Joyce's other half. I wouldn't say necessarily better half, because she's our worship leader. But they are definitely an awesome pair. And so, there are a lot of folks that would say that the Bible is based on, folks that weren't even there when the events happened. That it's made up of a mixture of myths and folk tales and different kinds of things kind of bled its way into the Word.
Or some would just say, they made it up.
They made it up, yeah.
They made it up to benefit themselves.
In fact, there's a movie that just came out a while back called Religulous. Maybe you've seen the movie Religulous. Anybody? Okay. Well, and probably the reason for that absolutely no one has seen the movie is because you know basically what it was about. It was an attack on people of faith. And so, Bill Maher would say, the Bible is just an old book that was made up by men. He would say that.
I'm not sure I really believe that Bill Maher exists.
Well, and that would be a good argument for him.
Could we find proof that Bill Maher exists?
Well, unfortunately, I think we can.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to investigate everything.
I think we can. But, 50 years ago, I think America was a different place. 50 years ago, there was this standard where people went to church and they did their own thing, and they had a set of beliefs that were basically passed on to them through their grandparents in their church, and so they just accepted what they were taught, and they didn't ask a lot of questions. And when they did, now Jeff, you tell me if you think I'm accurate on this, but don't you think that when people asked questions 50 years ago that it was seen as taboo sometimes?
It was certainly not something that we were as comfortable with within the church maybe as we should have been. The questions were something somebody else did, and it meant that a lot of people said, well, I want to go there because I want to be able to ask the questions.
Yeah. And so I think what happened was, and maybe you're in this category, is that I think everyone has a strong opinion about what they believe. I mean, you can't get a conversation started at work about what you believe without evoking some pretty strong emotions. People have a confidence about what they believe. But here's the real question, is why do you believe what you believe? Why do you believe what you believe? Because, the whole thing kind of leads around this question of why do you believe what you believe? Because, here we have this guy, Bill Maher, who made this movie, and basically he banks on the account that you will not know the answer to why you believe what you believe. That he can ask tough questions and you won't have very good answers to those questions. And in fact, I've watched most of this movie and it really makes me mad. In fact, I would probably say this is one of the things that fueled my desire to do this series. The blood pressure's okay.
Good.
Wait till after this clip.
Oh, look at everybody.
And so here is a clip of Bill Maher on Larry King Live. Okay? And they're going to ask him some questions about his movie, and then they're going to show a couple. Yes.
Well, why would we show a clip off of Larry King when we can just show them a piece of the movie since it's out now on DVD?
Well, because it might be a copyright thing. I don't know.
And also, all the stuff that's on Larry King was already...
it was already cut. Yeah, there's some stuff in this movie that you wouldn't want to watch with children in the room. Okay, Bill Maher does not spare any vulgarity in some of these things, but this clip is safe to watch.
Exactly.
And so take a minute and watch this clip of Religulous as he picks on some victims.
Do you believe in evolution?
You know, first, I don't know. Clearly, the scientific community is a little divided on some of the specifics of that, and I understand
I
that.
don't think they are.
Well,
I think they pretty much agree.
I don't know how it all happened. I mean, I'm certainly willing to.
But it couldn't possibly have been Adam and Eve 5,000 years ago with a talking snake in a garden, could it?
Well, it could have possibly been that.
Come on.
Okay.
This is my problem,
Yeah.
is I'm trying, I mean, you're a senator. You are one of the very few people who are really running this country. It worries me that people are running my country who believe in a talking snake.
You don't have to pass an IQ test to be in the Senate, though.
That was pretty funny.
And a very nice man.
Yeah, yeah.
Senator Pryor, I hope he's not.
Okay, this film, Religulous, opens October 3rd. It'll be wide.
Oh, yes.
Here is another clip from the film, Religulous. Watch.
Oh, I'll let myself on there. I want to make sure. Testing 1, 2. Check. Testing. All right. How you doing, Bill? God bless you.
Hi.
Seeing you around.
Having no other gods before you, that's not moral. There's nothing moral about that. It's just something a jealous God would do.
It does say that our God is a jealous God.
But your God is jealous? That seems so un-God-like. That God would have such a petty human emotion. I know people who have gotten over jealousy, let alone God.
There's two sides of the coin. He's a just God, and he's also a merciful God. He
He spends the first 5 books of the Bible wiping out people.
That's what he chose to do. His ways are higher than ours, Bill.
Maybe your thinking should be higher.
That's a good point.
Now you better explain, where was that? That man was Jesus, right?
Yes, that was in heaven, Larry. We were on location, and believe me, it's not easy to get in there. Permits, you think the Chinese are...
You especially, I don't think you ever shot it.
No, that was Holy Land. That was the amusement park in Florida, in Orlando.
And so those are two of the short clips of the movie, and it goes on and on. I can't tell you how many times he walked into a church. He just went up to people on the street. He went to the Vatican. He tried to get into the Vatican and got kicked out. I mean, he just did all kinds of crazy stuff. But he didn't ask anything that hasn't been asked before. But it was interesting, the answers that he got. And so one of the questions that I want you to think about today is this: what is truth? What is truth? Is something true just because you believe it's true? Because that's how most people in the world assess their belief system. They say, well, I think it is. And so therefore, for them, they think it's true because they said, well, that's what I think. But is truth true because we think it's true, or is truth based on some other standard? Does there have to be some evidence to back up the things that we base our faith on? 1 Peter chapter 3 is the verse for our whole series in these next few weeks. And I want you to see this. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15 through 16 says this: "But in your hearts, set apart Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason, everybody say the reason, okay? So there's a reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect." The writer says that there's an important factor here for us as Christians, that we ought to be ready to give an answer and to give a reason for the hope that we have. And just to say in this day and age, well, because I believe it's so, might be fine for us because we're rooted in what we believe and know. But when people are looking for God and are looking for truth, they're asking tough questions. And just, well, because I believe it's so, isn't good enough for them. And the Bible says we need to be ready to have an